Breakfast and brilliant ideas, coffee and conversation, we're serving up that and much more at IBJ Media's events. Join us at an upcoming event and kickstart your day with fresh ideas and new connections. Check out our event lineup and register now at ibj.com/RSVP.
Indiana is an agricultural powerhouse, offering companies the most comprehensive ag bioscience environment.
Indiana's multi-billion-dollar ag biosector coming out with a new report highlighting the challenges, what's working, and new opportunities for the next generation of entrepreneurs. We'll take a closer look at what it all adds up to. Plus, good timing with space exploration dominating the headlines. Hear what Indiana business leaders and policymakers shared for what's on the horizon for the state's $6.5 billion defense industry. And
this is my first time to come to the Final Four in Indianapolis. It's been a great venue, great city to host.
Putting a bow on Indianapolis hosting its 9th men's Final Four, how the city raised the bar this year, the economic impact, and a look at the next big events coming to Indy. Inside Indiana Business is next.
From Indiana's business news leader, this is IBJ Media's Inside Indiana Business with Gary Dick. Presented by Elevate Ventures, Indiana University, LIUNA, and the Indiana Association of Realtors.
Hello and welcome to Inside Indiana Business. I'm Gary Dick. The ag bioscience sector, it is one of Indiana's most powerful economic engines, touching everything from the food we eat to the technologies that help farmers feed the world. When you talk about the economic impact, consider this. In Indiana, it's estimated the industry includes more than 5,400 businesses and organizations, employs more than 152,000 people, and generates more than $82 billion in economic activity, contributing to an estimated $22 billion to the state's GDP. Now, a report just out from AgriNovus Indiana is taking a closer look at opportunities for growth, from farmer-focused innovation to the role of food in healthcare, to bioinnovation. Joining me now to talk more about what it all could mean in terms of investment, jobs, the future of the state's economy. Pleased to be joined by AgriNovus Indiana CEO Christy Wright. And Christy, it's always great to see you.
Great to see you too, Gary.
Okay, first of all, ag bioscience.
Yes.
What is that? A lot of people say, is it farming? It's a lot more than that. What is ag bioscience?
I'm glad you asked. Yeah. So when we say ag bioscience, we're talking about 5 platform economies. And Indiana is rich in assets across these platform economies. So that includes animal health, agricultural production, plant science, value-added agriculture and manufacturing, and then also agriculture technology.
Yeah. And Indiana is, again, a lot of assets, really positioned as well as any place with academic institutions, companies, and those types of things.
Yes, absolutely. When you look at the anchors that we have here, the corporate anchors in terms of Corteva, Elanco, Eli Lilly, Elevance, and then, of course, the R1 institutions, the entrepreneur and ecosystem that we have here related to innovation, it's difficult to beat.
Okay, I want to talk about this new report just out, and it really focuses on 3 key areas: farmer-focused innovation, food is health, and bioinnovation. Those really key areas to focus on, and one among them, this food is health is an important one.
It is, yeah. It's really emerging as a great opportunity for Indiana as well. So this report does 2 things. Number one, it updates the data that we have on the economic impact of the sector, and you covered some of that in your opening comments. We saw growth by 5,000 people in our workforce, also an increase in $10 billion in the economic impact, so great growth happening there. The other thing that the study does is really help us understand better those areas of opportunity, and food is health is a key one, and that really is the intersection of plant, animal, and human health with food as the nexus.
All right, this really tees up, if you will, topics for the Velocity 6-month Velocity Accelerator, which will offer a $25,000 prize at the end, right? Talk about what that process is.
Sure. So the Velocity Accelerator really is an opportunity for us to help support the founders and the entrepreneurs here, including student-led teams, to drive forward innovation that supports those 3 areas in ag bioscience: farmer-focused innovation, bioinnovation, and food is health. And we do that through the 6-month accelerator program. We offer mentorship through that program, also connections in the ecosystem, and it culminates in a $25,000 prize for each of those tracks.
Yep. Critical time. for the sector? Because a lot of things seem to be coming together at the same time.
It is. It's such an exciting time. It's an exciting time to be in Indiana right now. And if we do this all right, then Indiana will be the heartland's answer to Boston, to California, to North Carolina, really by drawing on all of the assets we talked about in plant, animal, and human health, as well as our ability to not only invent, but to make and move the innovation that we have here.
Lots going on in the ag bioscience space. Christy Wright, the CEO at AgriNovus Indiana, thanks as always.
Thank you, Gary.
All right. Well, a new operating business plan for an Indiana organization aimed at growing the supply chain for locally produced food. FarmWise Indiana is now an independent nonprofit. FarmWise focuses on connecting farmers throughout the state with food buying organizations like schools and restaurants. The organization says since it started in 2024, it's helped shift about $75,000 to local farms.
We're one of the only states that has a system like this in the U.S. And so when people have incentives to buy local food or institutions want to buy more local food, they know they can call FarmWise Indiana because we're right there.
Smith says FarmWise is planning to launch an online resource guide to help buyers discover where they can find the food products that they need. Still ahead, it was a slam dunk for the Indiana economy. Indiana Sports Corporation talks about the impact of Final Four weekend and looks ahead to the next time the state will take center court.
Whether you're buying or selling a home, the stakes are high. Realtors are market experts who do business by a higher code of ethics, and we're invested in Indiana because we're also your neighbors. Now here's the latest statewide real estate report.
In 2025, the number of homes for sale across Indiana hit a 6-year high, with new listings jumping nearly 10% in the last 2 years. Homes also stayed on the market about 4 days longer than 2024, 2 weeks longer than back in 2021. Buyers have more options and more time to find the right home heading into 2026. But patience is paying off for home sellers as Indiana property values continue to climb. Indiana is still one of the most affordable states for home ownership. The mortgage payment on a typical recent home purchase equals about 34% of our median monthly household income.
Today, you either innovate or evaporate. We are accelerating the pursuit of progress. From the foods we eat to the heights we soar, because this is Indiana, the innovation capital of the world. We rally visionaries across industries, investing connections as much as capital, and fuel our founders from dorm room to boardroom. Fuel your innovation with Elevate Ventures.
Superstar Post Malone, one of the many big-name musicians helping to create a hoop celebration in downtown Indianapolis as the city hosted its 9th men's Final Four. By virtually all accounts, Indianapolis can chalk up another win when it comes to hosting a major sporting event. Visit Indy tells us it was a virtual sellout across hotels in the downtown area, and the NCAA reports more than 70,000 fans attended the national championship game. The Final Four in Indy last week expected to pump about $400 million into the regional economy. And joining me now with a game summary from this year and what's next in the pipeline, Indiana Sports Corporation President Patrick Talty. And Patrick, hopefully you're rested up from what was a big week.
We're getting there.
Yeah.
We're getting there.
Some numbers hot off the presses, 70,000 plus for the game, but the NCAA is out talking about record attendance for several days at Fan Fest, big numbers too for Music Fest as well.
Well, like we always said, Hoosiers show up.
Right. Yeah, and they did in a big way. What's your big takeaway? I mean, the commentary on social media was really off the charts in terms of positive about Indianapolis as a host city. A number of people saying, hey, why doesn't Indy host it every year?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me was the city was alive. It was great to see all those people out and about, Illinois and Michigan fans and UConn, and everyone came and they had a great time, and the restaurants were packed. The streets were just exciting. and it just was really cool to see that for the city.
And the music, you had the basketball, you had on the court, but off the court, big name music events, and again, 73,000 plus for Music Fest. Those are big numbers, and that's a big contribution to the economy.
Oh yeah, I mean those Music Fests, first of all, it's first class, big artists, and it really is exciting to see that every night happen out at American Legion Mall. Big fireworks show at the end, and of course you have the Ferris wheel, which is giving beautiful views of downtown.
This is another chance, or was another chance certainly for Indianapolis to show its stuff, if you will, as a host city. A lot of folks were in town here, right, from other cities, either that are going to be hosts or are looking to host in the future.
Oh yeah, there was probably a dozen cities from all over the country that are excited about the opportunity to bid on future Final Fours. So the competition is going to be stiff when we go out and bid again. Luckily, we already have 28 women's and 29 men's.
That's in terms of big events going forward. In 2028, you've got the women's Final Four and U.S. Swimming again in that same year.
Yes, I mean it's going to be quite a year in 2028. You know, we have the women's Final Four. It's going to be in Lucas Oil Stadium. First time ever for inside Lucas Oil Stadium. And then we're going to, a few months later, we're going to pick the team in Lucas Oil Stadium that's going to compete in the LA 28 Olympics.
As you look, and then you've got the 29 men's Final Four back here again. As you look at other events in the pipeline, a lot of attention paid toward the NFL draft. And you'll be in Pittsburgh. Others will be in Pittsburgh, right?
Yes.
Very soon.
Yeah, we're taking a contingency to Pittsburgh to check it out, see what's going on, so that we can start preparing. If we were to get invited to bid, we'll be ready to put a good bid together. And we were not lucky enough that we had some NFL folks in town checking out the Music Fest, because that is a location that we've talked about for the NFL draft.
So they were here then, and they were here during the NFL Combine too, looking at potential sites, right?
Yes, that's right. That's right.
All right, what's the next big thing? You talk about the Final Four, U.S. swim trials as well. Anything else big on the plate in the pipeline?
Well, I mean, you know, this is typical Hoosiers. What's next after we just got done with the next big one? But, you know, really, we're going to start planning the Women's Final Four here next month, and we're really excited about that.
Patrick Talty, Indiana Sports Corporation, as always, thanks for joining us.
Absolutely.
Well, the Indiana Fever also making some headlines this week. For the first time, we're getting a look inside the team's new $78 million Sports Performance Center downtown. The team says the facility will be the largest and most advanced training facility in the WNBA. Features include a comprehensive recovery suite, individual player studios in the locker room, and a lot more. It's expected to open next year. Transitioning now from the basketball court to the football field with a sneak peek into a conversation with a pro athlete who's left a lasting impression on Indianapolis. A snippet now from IBJ media podcaster Dave Calabro sit down with future Hall of Famer, former Indianapolis Colts kicker Adam Vinatieri.
This is the Patriots season on the line. The kick is away. It is good.
Hey everybody, coming up on the next edition of Playmakers, Dave Calabro hanging out with this guy. Do you guys, number 4, Adam Vinatieri, what did you do for a living? You were...
kicked a couple footballs in the day.
Kicked a couple of footballs. You're headed to the Hall of Fame. How excited are you about that?
Oh, that's awesome. I can't believe it, to be honest with you. Every time I think about it, it just makes me this permanent smile on my face.
You have earned it, big time. Big time you've earned it. Mr. Clutch is my guest. We're going to talk about family. We're going to talk about football, these great moments. We're going to go back in time. We're going to relive the glory days with the Patriots.
There, it's down. Vinatieri's kick is on the way. It looks good. It looks good. It is! Colts win!
In the glory days with the Colts, you guys had a couple of big days.
Yeah, we had a lot of good days in there.
Yeah.
So
Adam Vinatieri coming up on Playmakers.
All right, Dave, great stuff. You can check out Dave's entire conversation with Adam Vinatieri on his Playmakers podcast. That's on YouTube, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts. Well, coming up, IBJ Media showcasing the importance of Indiana's $6.5 billion defense industry. And that includes new automated military innovation coming out of AM General in South Bend, and how it could change the U.S. Army's warfighting strategy.
Indiana, start your engines. Join us from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway for our Emmy Award-winning Business at the Brickyard, presented by LiUNA. All month long, we'll bring you exclusive interviews, features, and a behind-the-scenes look at how the business of motorsports and racing drive the Indiana economy. Business at the Brickyard. It's front row access you won't want to miss.
We build Indiana. The Laborers International Union of North America are building roads and bridges to get Hoosiers where they're going today, and a new energy infrastructure that will keep Indiana competitive tomorrow. LIUNA's over 12,000 statewide members also grow local economies, earning good union wages, shopping where they live and work, and paying taxes. We build Indiana for good jobs and stronger communities. The Laborers International Union of North America. We are LIUNA.
Been a while. What have you been up to?
Oh, you know.
Oh, I see it's not flossing. I just added some secret weapons to my toolkit.
Huh?
They help me drill down further, digging deeper than I ever could before. Into my business and personal finances with Lake City Bank Digital.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Now let's take care of that tooth.
Add sharper tools for your money with Lake City Bank Digital.
You are all set, Brian.
I'm Devin.
The challenges are real.
Type 2 diabetes rising
Small
faster
businesses
among
need help.
Alzheimer's cases rising as population.
Solutions.
They said it'll never happen.
It's too hard. Nothing will change.
Can't compete.
You'll never solve it.
And we said, watch us.
It's who we are, a company built with intention, clear structure, deliberate scale.
L3 Harris Technologies operations in Northeast Indiana, one example of how technology and innovation are driving the state's already robust $6.5 billion defense sector forward. Defense, business, and academic leaders from around the country gathered in downtown Indianapolis this week for the Midwest Defense Innovation Summit. It is estimated the defense and aerospace industry contributes nearly $6 billion to the state's GDP, but industry insiders feel there is room to grow in new areas, including drones and shipbuilding. Workforce will be a key.
We're the first state that's really aligned our high school diplomas to focus on skills and workforce. And in our case, we need more STEM degrees. It's the only college degree that we underproduce, and it happens to be the most important one. We're getting all of that aligned.
This is about connecting Indiana-based assets to national opportunities, and particularly in the national security space. Indiana has a great story to tell when it comes to our ability to make things.
Kovsek believes Indiana needs to tell its defense industry story to continue to do that here at home and importantly to lawmakers on Capitol Hill. Well, TechPoint, the leading advocacy group for Indiana's technology sector, has a new leader, and he's no stranger to the Indiana tech scene. Eric Christopher is the new CEO at TechPoint, and he brings more than 20 years of experience in venture capital and scaling high-growth software companies to that role. He co-founded software firm Xylo in 2016, which was twice named Indiana's Startup of the Year. Christopher tells me the state's tech sector is entering what he calls a defining period of opportunity, driven in part by AI.
I think it's an exciting time, but it's so new, it's moving so quickly. And I think it's really important that, as we're making investments related to talent, related to capital, all of these things, the time period that we're in is going to be very meaningful. The decisions and the investments and the bets that we make are going to impact us. And so I think this is an opportunity, for us to, especially in TechPoint, to be a leader in defining what that's going to be for the community, for the different industry sectors, for the entire state.
Christopher is an IU grad and a native of Richmond. Says he looks forward to traveling the state to get an up-close and personal look at strengths, weaknesses, and ways to connect communities and industries in the tech economy. Catching up now on headlines making news from around Indiana. In Grant County, Re-Element Technologies Corporation is gearing up to start initial production of rare earth materials later this year. The company has been transforming the former RCA Thompson plant in Marion into a refinery. Re-Element Technologies says 4 production lines will process raw materials, resulting in rare earth elements and critical minerals that can be used in commercial and defense industries. The company also has a location in Noblesville. Well, international shipping season is here for the ports of Indiana. The Ocean 7 Ranger cargo ship was the first ship into port, marking the start of the important season. It left Taiwan, traveled across the ocean, and stopped in Canada before arriving at the Burns Harbor port. The ship brought equipment for U.S. Steel's Gary Works operation. Ports of Indiana Burns Harbor handles more than 2 million tons of cargo annually. South Bend-based AM General has unveiled a new unmanned ground vehicle designed to support Army logistics missions while reducing risk. The vehicle highlights the company's push into the autonomous logistics platforms. AM General is currently testing a demonstrator vehicle ahead of a U.S. Army request for proposals that is expected later this year. A new study is out that finds Ivy Tech Community College, which has 41 locations across the state, has a nearly $5 billion economic impact in Indiana. The study from an Idaho company also found that more than 63,000 jobs, or about 1 in every 70, are supported by the activities of Ivy Tech and its students. Nearly 120,000 Hoosiers attend Ivy Tech for either credits or skills training. We have a link to the full report with a breakdown from each of the college's 19 campuses in our story on the website. Well, Sheetz, a popular Pennsylvania-based convenience store chain, plans to spend $1 billion to open 100 stores across the state of Indiana. The company says it plans to open its first locations next year in the greater Indianapolis area, but did not share specific locations. Sheetz expects stores will add about 3,000 jobs for Hoosiers. Coming up next, hope for those suffering from a disease brought to the forefront by an Indiana teenager. Kokomo's Ryan White, a hemophiliac who contracted AIDS through a blood transfusion, how his legacy lives on to help others suffering from the same disease. We are on the road again, and we're traveling to every region in the state. Join IBJ Media, Inside Indiana Business, and the state of Indiana for the Innovate Indiana series, sponsored by CareSource, Indiana University, and Old National Bank. You'll hear from Governor Mike Braun and regional leaders as we explore growth, innovation, and what's next for your region. Don't miss this front row look at the role your region plays in shaping the state's future. RSVP now at ibj.com/innovate.
Whether you're buying or selling a home, the stakes are high. Realtors are market experts who do business by a higher code of ethics, and we're invested in Indiana because we're also your neighbors. Now here's the latest statewide real estate report.
In 2025, the number of homes for sale across Indiana hit a 6-year high, with new listings jumping nearly 10% in the last 2 years. Homes also stayed on the market about 4 days longer than 2024, 2 weeks longer than back in 2021. Buyers have more options and more time to find the right home heading into 2026. But patience is paying off for home sellers as Indiana property values continue to climb. Indiana is still one of the most affordable states for home ownership. The mortgage payment on a typical recent home purchase equals about 34% of our median monthly household income.
Challenges are real. Type 2 diabetes rising Small faster businesses among need help. Alzheimer's cases rising as population.
Solutions.
They said it'll never happen.
It's too hard. Nothing will change.
Can't compete.
You'll never solve it.
And we said, watch us.
Today, you either innovate or evaporate. We are accelerating the pursuit of progress. From the foods we eat to the heights we soar, because this is Indiana, the innovation capital of the world. We rally visionaries across industries, invest in connections as much as capital, and fuel our founders from dorm room to boardroom. Fuel your innovation with Elevate Ventures.
Well, Daymar Services serves more than 1,800 people with developmental disabilities around Indiana. For parents who turn to Daymar, it's a tough and really challenging situation. Same holds true for the caregivers there. The Daymar executive team has developed a high-tech, potentially game-changing AI tool to help promote an optimal working situation for those caregivers.
We've developed an initiative called the REAL Initiative. REAL stands for responsive, engaged, active, and loving. And we use video and audio in our treatment units, outside, in our vehicles. And when our employees, our very important employees, are engaged in those behaviors that we have operationally defined, we actually pay them more dynamically for that hour. If they're not exhibiting those behaviors, their payment goes down to the baseline.
You can hear a lot more about this really fascinating AI program at Damar and what's next for that organization on the Business and Beyond podcast. Well, rural healthcare in Indiana and new Hoosier innovation to treat hemophilia, a disease that Kokomo native Ryan Wright brought to light back in the 1980s. Business of Health reporter Kylie Valletta here now with more. Kylie.
Thanks, Gary. Indiana mothers and babies have been plagued by closures of OB/GYN offices. In fact, Indiana is #1 in the nation for OB units closing their doors since 2020. In Indiana, the tally sits at 16 that have closed or announced they will close. And most of those clinics are in rural communities. And that's why healthcare leaders in Southwest Indiana are applauding this week's headline. Daviess County Community Hospital has opened a new women's health center, which includes a revamped OB unit for delivering babies. The renovation includes an inpatient nursery and OB unit. And for the first time, the small rural hospital is employing its own OB/GYNs. Nearby Greene County General Hospital and Harrison County Hospital recently closed their OB units, meaning women had to drive 30 minutes for delivery services.
But 30 minutes is the top of the line, right, to get OB care, especially you're pregnant. Now I got to drive 30 minutes and I'm in labor. That's an issue, right? There is a shortage in the state of Indiana for OB/GYNs. Fortunately, we are excited to hire 2 new OB/GYNs just in the last couple months, and they've started just in the past week.
Located in Washington, the new Women's Center has transfer agreements with nearby hospitals that don't offer delivery services. The hospital says the center is a one-stop shop for all of women's health care, including ultrasound and 3D breast imaging. Indiana's Ryan Wright was a big part of putting a face on hemophilia. The Kokomo teenager made national headlines in the 80s after contracting AIDS following blood treatment for hemophilia. He died in 1990 at the age of 18. Now, Hoosier Innovation contributing to treating those with hemophilia. Innovative Hematology in Indianapolis is the first in the state to offer gene therapy treatment. Hemophilia is a rare disorder where the blood can't clot properly, leaving patients vulnerable to bleeding episodes that can be life-threatening. The key is that the therapy is a one-time treatment, potentially freeing patients from a lifetime of frequent and expensive infusions. The new therapy allows the body to produce its own clotting factors, which can drastically improve quality of life for patients.
Back to that Daviess County hospital. That's a big story for Southern Indiana.
Right.
Indiana, as I understand it, has been #1 for several years in terms of OB units closing.
Right.
Why is that?
Well, I talked to the CEO about that, and he just put it real plainly. In rural areas, most of those patients are Medicaid patients, and that makes reimbursement really challenging for hospitals, and so that's led to a lot of closures. Now, this new center in particular is funded by donations, and he says Medicaid patients deserve the exact same level of care, and they deserve it in their hometown, so they're very excited about this.
Yep. Good stuff. Thanks, Kylie.
Yep.
Well, that's all the time we have for this edition of Inside Indiana Business. We leave you this week with video taken by our chief photographer, Clint Ehrbacher, from the Final Four in downtown Indianapolis. I'm Gary Dick. Go out and make it a successful week.
We build Indiana. The Laborers International Union of North America are building roads and bridges to get Hoosiers where they're going today, and a new energy infrastructure that will keep Indiana competitive tomorrow. LIUNA's over 12,000 statewide members also grow local economies, earning good union wages, shopping where they live and work, and paying taxes. We build Indiana for good jobs and stronger communities. The Laborers International Union of North America. We are LIUNA.
Been a while. What have you been up to?
Oh,
Oh, I see it's not flossing. I just added some secret weapons to my toolkit.
Huh?
They help me drill down further, digging deeper than I ever could before. Into my business and personal finances with Lake City Bank Digital.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Now let's take care of that tooth.
Add sharper tools for your money with Lake City Bank Digital.
You are all set, Brian.
I'm Devin.
Indiana, start your engines. Join us from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway for our Emmy Award-winning Business at the Brickyard, presented by LiUNA. All month long, we'll bring you exclusive interviews, features, and a behind-the-scenes look at how the business of motorsports and racing drive the Indiana economy. Business at the Brickyard. It's front row access you won't want to miss.
You know, the economy and the market are in a hairy place these days. It's up a lot, it's down a lot, it's sideways, and seems on the hour. There's breaking news coming out of all areas of the country. How do you get your head around that? How do you not go crazy in the process? I'm Peter Dunn. You may know me as Pete the Planner, IBJ columnist, and my job for years has been to help you understand your financial life better in context with everything else going on. So, what am I encouraging you to do? Well, listen to the Pete the Planner Show. Yeah, it's a podcast. You can get it wherever you get your podcasts, or simply listen at ibjpodcasts.com.
Do you want to know what really drives change in Indiana? You won't find it in sound bites, you'll find it in stories. Stories from CEOs, lawyers, coaches, entrepreneurs, and community advocates. That's the IBJ Media Podcast Network. Insightful, local, impactful. Find all of our shows by searching IBJ Media in your podcast app or visit ibjpodcast.com.